Well, I'm off for the day. It's not quite 7:30. I was hoping to get out at 7, but ran a little bit behind. So, sorry, I think I might see a bear. I do. Okay, bear, back up. So yes, that was my first bear of the day. I didn't even get 100 yards from the shelter trail. And I wasn't yelling like I have been for the past couple of days. So I guess I need to get back in my yelling routine to get the bears moving. I think it moved along. Didn't look too big, so I don't know if it was a mama or cubs. I only saw one. But anyway, my plan is to get to 14 miles from here and go to the Open Arms Hostel in Luray and pick up a couple packages, including some insoles for my shoes, which hopefully will help my feet a little bit. But yeah, that's the plan, but I have to get by all the bears that are here in the Shennies, so I'm gonna stop videoing and start paying attention. Well, it is a beautiful rocky morning. I have been going through the rocky trails for, I don't know, half mile or so. There's this huge pile down here, kind of like what I saw the other day. And there's a sign that says stay on the trail, so I guess it's gonna get pretty complicated up ahead. All right, so I just came past that rocky part. It really wasn't that bad, but I think they just wanted you to stay on the trail so you didn't go climbing on that rock pile and slip down and get hurt. But I wanted to just mention something before that I was gonna say before the bear caught my attention earlier. And it was, Rock Springs Hut was beautiful and really enjoyed it. At first, Walkabout and I thought we might be the only people there, and we decided to shelter because the tent sites were way up a hill. But other people came rolling in about 7 or 8. And then a couple hikers came in. I know they were pulling big miles, but they rolled in at literally 9:45. I actually had been asleep and was just waking up to go to the bathroom, and I saw a light and I'm like, what the heck? And here comes the hiker, and not only did he come in, and normally when somebody comes in that late, they just kind of dump themselves on a campsite and don't bother anybody, but he wanted to be in the shelter, so he plopped his sleeping pad down next to me, and I don't know what all he was doing for the next hour and a half, but he did not go to bed until almost midnight, and I'm a light sleeper, so that really kind of screwed up my sleeping. And it's just I'm totally for people making big miles and hiking their own hike, but there's just something about consideration for other hikers, especially when they're sleeping, that yeah, I was kind of irritated. And I'm not usually the vindictive type, but man, I was trying to go to sleep and I'm thinking, man, I can't wait to wake up early and wake that guy up. But of course he got up early too, because he said he did 27 miles yesterday, and I don't know what they're trying to do today, him and his buddy. But yeah, so I'm a little sleepy today and hopefully not cranky. I try to get that out of my system. I grumbled a little bit, but let it go. So I'm, like I said, it's a beautiful day today, and the high today, even though it's mid-July, is targeted to be about 69, so it should be absolutely a perfect day for hiking. I'm gonna let the lack of sleep go and just try to enjoy the trail. Here is my early morning view across the rocks. This is another rock scramble, and look at all that. No wonder they don't want you staying, going off the trail. In fact, staying on the trail can be a challenge on days like this, because you're like, okay, where exactly is it? I'm forging straight ahead. Well, here's the end of the off-trail closure, so I guess now if you're inclined, you can scramble wherever you want, but I prefer to stick to the trail. That's adventure enough for me. This is a pretty imposing rock. I can't even tell you how high that is, but man, does it go up there. Wow. And I'm crossing my fingers the trail's gonna be a little bit easier, but I have a feeling, because I was just going up a whole bunch of rocks, that I will probably be going down a bunch of rocks. And I am starting to think that if I have time, stopping at the little restaurant up here, I think it's the Skyline Lodge or something like that, for second breakfast might be a good idea if I've got time. So I will see how things go. Here is another nice morning view of the valley. All the homes and the businesses down there. And I think Skyline Drive is right behind me. I just passed another bear just through that thicket there. He was sitting in the woods just looking at me. And I hollered at him, but he wouldn't go anywhere. So he's just sitting there looking at me. He looked like a teddy bear. But don't want to get close enough. I don't think he's going to want to snuggle. And that brings my bear count for the Shenandoahs to 10. And 15 for the trail overall. So that's a lot of bears, and I have a feeling there'll be more before I'm done here. I thought I was getting close to the restaurant. I got really excited. Instead, I found the stables, and the horses are really pretty. Good morning, horses. Oh, I wish I could take time for a ride. It would be fun. Well, that looks a little bit like a tree full of Doritos. I was a little disappointed to see that too, because that's definitely not a restaurant. But then I got to the signpost and it says that Skyland Dining Room is 0.1 down that way, and I am starving. My hiker hunger has kicked in big time. But I'm also happy because I just found one of these on top of the signpost. Nice little bit of trail magic. I like the foot, or the boot. All right, well, I was hoping for a made to order egg sandwich, but had to settle for turkey and cheese and orange juice. $7 for the sandwich. It looks like fresh roasted turkey and nice cheddar, so that's pretty good. And I am starving, so that's my early lunch. This is Little Stony Man Cliffs. Another spectacular view. Really cool cliffs as well. It's kind of dizzying to be up this high. How you doing? Having a good day? I know your friend went across the trail already. Over that way. I can see his tail. Okay, you can cross. See you later. Bye, dear. Bye. There's a pretty stone hut. That's Bird's Nest 3, and I'm not staying there because I've got a hostel for the night. I was just dropped off at Thornton Gap 211 by Allison from Open Arms Hostel. She picked me up yesterday afternoon and I had a real nice day at her place. It was short but sweet. Enjoyed it, and it was great because some folks I knew were there. Actually, Everywhere was there, and her friend, and then All Good came in later in the evening, and so we got to catch up. And it was funny because I had just been wondering what he was up to. I hadn't heard from him or seen him since the partnership shelter, and nice to see he's still on the trail. A lot of people now are talking about flip-flopping and jumping up and all that stuff, so it's kind of hard to keep track of where everybody is, but I am on the trail, almost out of the Shenandoahs. I think I've got, yeah, just today, and then tomorrow I will be heading up to the Mountain Home Cabin, which I'm looking forward to seeing. It sounds like it's a historic place, so that'll be exciting. But for now, I've got 14 miles to hike, probably a few more bears to see, although I am a little bit out-beared. I'll be happy if I don't see any more, but I have a feeling that they're out there waiting for me. So anyway, I'm off. We've had such gorgeous weather the past few days. Sunny and cool, and there's gonna be rain coming in, I think starting this evening, but I just got into the forest and it is mist rolling in. It's about 8 a.m. and you might think it was like almost 9 o'clock at night. As gray as it is. So I'm guessing if there are bears over there, I'm not even gonna see them because of the mist, and hopefully they won't bother me. Generally they don't. So anyway, I'm gonna keep hiking through and see if the sun burns through the mist in a little bit, and if not, it'll be a gray day in the woods. I just got to the turnoff for the Pass Mountain Hut, which is the first shelter. It's about 1.2 into my hike. This is where Everywhere and her friend went to stay last night, and I so far have passed one solo hiker. She said she camped up this way, and a whole troop of Boy Scouts. So you can kind of tell when it's the weekend in a national park because there are more hikers out, and I have a feeling I'll see even more today, even though we're kind of at the north end of the park. But yeah, so far so good. Unfortunately, it's been sprinkling on me a little bit, so I had to put my makeshift rain cover on, which is my Frog Togs poncho. I tried this setup the other day and it worked pretty well for keeping my pack dry, including the back of my pack, because I have the poncho running down behind the pack as well as over the back of it, and better than the rain cover I had worked. And I also forgot to mention that I have a new half buff. I told Allison, it's not on me, right? But anyway, I told Allison that somehow I had lost my half buff when I did laundry last time. I know it was clean because it was in my clean clothes pile, but somehow it got away. So she said, oh, don't worry, I don't wear a buff, and I have one that somebody gave me. So she gave it to me, and the full buff is kind of tight on my head. I only need the half buff, which is what I like, just to keep my hair back. And so I cut it in half, and I gave the other half to All Good, who was also looking for a buff. So we both got a sweet deal out of that. It was a nice little bit of a trail blessing. All right, so I found my way to the Oak Wallow Wayside. Looks like there's some other things here too. And actually on the trail I ran into a couple from Atlanta in the park area who had already flip-flopped. They're in the flop section of their hike. So that was cool, and they said they had breakfast here and it was really good. So I'm looking forward to getting a good meal for lunch. Alright, so I placed my order on lunch today. Is a very messy barbecue sandwich, a whole mess of onion rings. I don't know if I'll even be able to eat them all. And a chocolate milkshake. I had the blackberry one the other day and it was awesome. And then I also got myself a yummy root beer. So I am set. I'm gonna sit here and eat, and it looks like it may rain soon. It's pretty gray, so I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I think I've only got a little over 6 miles to go to get to the hut, so I've got plenty of time. My bear count today, even though I said I was over beared, is 3. That gives me 13 total, and actually you could say 14. There was one that I heard jump out of a tree, but I actually didn't see it, so I'm not going to count that. It makes 13 for the Shenandoahs and 18, if I'm doing my math right, since I started the hike. And I know some people say they never see a bear at all, and I know that's just because they are not in tune with the bear wavelength. Because if you're hiking through the Shenandoahs, you are definitely walking past a bunch of bears. And I actually feel like a bear right now because I'm sitting here in this breezeway. You can see between the soda machines, there's a parking area and people walking through. And a couple went by. And I'm sitting here with my pack all covered in my rain poncho, my shoes off. I just look like a dirty hiker. And this couple walks by and the man says to his wife, you know, there's a lot of AT hikers around in this area. And she's like, oh, really? And I thought, I'm right here and you're walking right by me. It's kind of funny. So I couldn't eat all the onion rings, but I pretty much demolished the sandwich. And there was a man here with his son and they were looking at this thing over there, right there. That is a payphone. I can't remember the last time I saw one of those. And the guy, the son was only like 14 and he'd never seen one before, so anyway, it was kind of funny, but I offered him the rest of my onion rings so they wouldn't go to waste, and of course he was very happy to have them. So I felt good about that, and they were extremely sweet and wished me well on my hike. So I got here to the Gravel Springs hut a little bit after 4 o'clock, and there's a beautiful spring there right at the end of the shelter trail. It's right down there. Shelter trail is about 0.2 and it's pretty steep, so kind of remote down here. And very foggy, as it has been all afternoon. As I mentioned, I did see, I think I mentioned, but I did see a little bit of sunshine this morning, late this morning, and then it went away and never came back. So I'm hanging out here, and I'm actually by myself, which is the first time I've really been hanging at a shelter by myself, but I don't expect that I'll be here alone tonight. I'm hoping that probably some other hikers will show up, and actually I was just sitting here getting all my stuff set up. I'm going to sleep in the shelter because I had checked out the tent sites and they were pretty slopey and way far up a hill, far away from the privy and far away from the bear box. And a woman came walking up that way and I was like, wait a minute, where did you come from and how did you get here? And it turns out she's a local. She was just trail running and one of the trails comes right by here. So she stopped and we chatted for a while. Her name was Liz. Had a good conversation. She's also a backpacker, so it was nice just chatting with her for a bit, and then she went on her way. And so here I am just getting set up, and I think I'm actually going to use a little bit of the time to edit some videos because I had so much food to eat at the wayside that I'm not really hungry yet. So that's what I'm going to do.